If you were a kid in the 1970s, chances are you played with toys that were, well, a little risky. They had sharp edges, tiny parts, and sometimes even real fire. And back then, that was just part of fun. No helmets, no warning labels, no worries. Today, we're looking at 10 toys from the 1970s that were so wild, they'd never make it onto shelves today. Some were creative, some were dangerous, and all of them are unforgettable. 1. Lawn darts, aka jarts. Let's start with the king of what were they thinking? Lawn darts looked like giant metal darts, with sharp tips meant to be tossed across the yard. The goal was to land them in a ring on the ground, but they were heavy, sharp, and flew through the air like missiles. Injuries were so common that they were officially banned in the US by 1988. Still, for a while, they were just another part of a sunny Saturday in the yard. 2. Creepy crawlers with the original hot plate. This one was like an easy bake oven's weird cousin. Kids would squirt liquid plastic called plastic goop into metal molds, then cook them on a real plug-in hot plate to make rubber bugs and monsters. Yes, children, high heat and melting chemicals. What could go wrong? Burns and fumes became a big concern, and eventually, the toy got a safer redesign. But those first versions? Totally wild, and totally 1970s. 3. The clacker balls. You probably remember these loud, swinging toys. 2 acrylic balls on a string that you clacked together over and under your hand. Try to get a rhythm going. They were fun, and surprisingly satisfying. But those hard plastic balls could shatter mid-clack, sending sharp shards flying. Eventually, the original versions were pulled, but not before thousands of noisy afternoons in the backyard. 4. Kenner's Easy Show Projector. This little gadget let kids watch mini-film reels of cartoons and old movies. You'd slide in a reel and crank the handle to watch the magic on the wall. But it had small parts that could be swallowed in film strips that could jam or melt if exposed to heat. Back then, it was considered clever. Today, it would need about 5 warning labels before hitting the shelves. 5. Battlestar Galactica missile-firing toys. In the late 70s, space was cool, and these action figures had spring-loaded missiles that really fired. But the fun turned scary fast. In 1978, a child tragically choked on one of the tiny missiles. After that, toy companies began redesigning or removing projectile features altogether. It was a sad wake-up call and the end of one very risky trend. 6. Water wiggle. This one sounds innocent, but wasn't. The water wiggle connected to a garden hose and whipped around wildly, shooting water everywhere. Kids chased it and laughed until it tangled, cracked, or flew into faces. In one heartbreaking case, the toy caused a fatal accident when a piece lodged in a child's mouth. It was quietly pulled from the market in the late 70s, but many remember it dancing across the lawn on hot summer days. 7. Slippery stairs and metal slides. Okay, not a toy you could buy, but a common backyard plaything. In the 1970s, slides were made of hot, bare metal. No guardrails, no padding, no mercy. Kids flew down them in shorts, often landing in dirt or gravel. They were fast, fun, and downright dangerous, especially in the summer heat. Today's plastic slides seem safe, but don't have quite the same thrill. 8. The chemistry set. Back then, science kits were serious. The 1970s versions often came with real chemicals like potassium nitrate or sulfur. Kids could make smoke bombs, stink bombs, or things that fizz and foamed wildly. No gloves, no goggles, just instructions and curiosity. Eventually, safety laws forced companies to tone it way down, but early sets felt like you were part scientist, part mad genius. 9. Stretch Armstrong. Oh, Stretch. This muscly, goo-filled hero could stretch across a room and snap back into shape. But if he tore, thick, sticky gel would ooze out, and it wasn't the kind of thing you wanted on your carpet. Kids poked, pulled, and sometimes bit into the mew, and parents weren't thrilled about the mess. Still, there was something amazing about holding a toy that felt alive. 10. Super elastic bubble plastic. This was not your average bubble toy. It came with a tube of goop that you squeezed onto a little straw, then blew into it to make a rubbery balloon. It smelled awful, and that's because it was made with solvents like acetone and plastic resin. Fun? Yes. Safe? Not even close. It was eventually pulled, but ask any 70s kid, and they'll remember that sweet, weird smell. studio microphone, OUTRO light and friendly. The 1970s were a time of big ideas, bold toys, and very few rules. Looking back, it's amazing we made it out with just a few scraped knees and singed eyebrows. But those toys, they made childhood feel a little more thrilling and a whole lot more memorable. If any of these toys sparked a memory, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time for another trip back in time, right here on America Rewind. Mano Peace Glock.